Rather than soul as an entity, it is more tried to be understood in spiritual sense. Soul. Well, that is not the correct way to understand soul. People say experience as spiritual experience and believing it as soul experience. That is not so. To understand soul, Dada master gave two similes as to what is soul like. What is soul? Like what? In two ways he explained soul. Soul is the subtlest of all the subtle elemental existence. There cannot be anything subtle than soul, subtlest. And all other elemental existence in its various modifications is gross as compared to soul. Do you understand? Desire, wish, these are all gross. You follow? To have, feeling is a gross aspect. And on feeling part, all Western world and philosophers and religious thinkers and religions and all scriptural understanding and teachings, they consider this as spiritual experience, a soul experience. No. In India too, where they say that we have got our experience of soul. No. The exact experience of soul is so rare, very rare to find. And in such very adverse times, in all its total glory, such an experience emancipated in Master's form. Now the photo that we see is the photo of a physical face that everybody can understand. And yet this is the photo of the soul, non-visible, formless. You see? What is now that? What are those two similes that can explain soul as to what is what like? Soul is what like? So to understand in the gross sense, soul is compared to a mirror. Mirror, you understand? Mirror. Understand? શું કઈ ગયો કોની સાથે આવ્યા છે તારી સાથે રાજેશ સમજેશ સા રાજેશ અહીંયા આવો ને અહીંયા આવો બસ એને સમજાય છે ઇંગ્લિશ બરાબર કરી છે ઓકે એટલે તમારી બાજુ રહે છે So soul is like a mirror. If you want to understand grossly what to soul is what like, mirror like, the way mirror reflects the objects as they are. Is it not so? Is it not so? As they are. Mirror does not want to distort any of the object as what it is or what it should not be. Just as it is, it reflects. The mirror does not become the object by reflecting, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Sure? That is everybody's experience. That is how soul is mirror-like in gross terms. When say we mirror-like, mirror is a gross entity, but soul is not gross. It is subtlest of the subtle. So how to understand that mirror-like quality of the soul? Soul is subtlest, formless, and yet it is entity, perpetual. So it is all through and modification wise reflecting all the aspects or everywhere. Such infinite powers are the soul powers, and basically those two powers are explainable and understandable by two now qualities, basic qualities of the soul, that is the knowing power and the viewing, seeing power. Original powers of the soul out of infinite powers, basically two are knowing power and seeing power. So in the mirror-like soul, that is the subtlest of the subtle, all the thought processes, intellectual processes, body consciousness states, feelings, desires, wishes, gross experiences, whatever they are there, they are nothing but mere reflections in the soul, and those reflected experiences, effects, and its whatever experience one has got, they are there on the side. Unless there is soul within the body, none of the body experiences, body wise also, can ever happen. Can ever happen. What is the value of a body without a soul? Tell me, you tell me. Sister, what do you understand? Tell me.
What is the value of a body without a soul?
What it is called?
What it is called?
That body. Just say what you feel. What else?
Just matter. Just
Matter.
Yeah.
In other words?
Dust, nothingness.
Nothing means you can see the body.
Yeah.
What it is that? What is it like?
Like a shell, like a you're holding the soul.
DEAD
Dead.
or CORPS. The moment before there was movement and everything, and you're trying to save the body with all the efforts, and when it is not in anybody's hands, and when the moment soul passes out, what is the value? And moment before you are doing all the things, and now nowhere. Oh, now gone, useless. No, not worth keeping in the house. Place is different. That's how it is. What happens? What happens? Body is the same. Day to day, yesterday we were with the body in the life form, and today what has happened? Same but nothing, no difference. The moment soul leaves the body, बिपिन आओ ऊपर क्या बैसे जाओ फाउसे के हाँ तो the moment soul leaves the body, it is the wonderful quality and the trait of the soul that so long as soul is within the body, body never decays. The moment soul leaves the body, very moment, simultaneous process of decay starts in the body, simultaneous, otherwise not. Many things happen, gangrene, this thing, you cut leg, this thing, but so long as the soul is there, and nature of this soul is container content. So container gets lessened, leg is cut, so whatever content part is there, it gets contented in there. So soul is there, and very intrinsic nature of the soul is all bliss. No pain or misery can ever touch or affect the blissful aspect of the soul at all. No one. So much so. You give an injection like that, you see, but from that part, your body will experience the pain. Your Gnani who is totally free from the body, you give upset like that. But then if you cut the hand, nothing happens. Does not experience the pain, no. it is the body aspect, totally different. So much so, soul and body are so different. But after experience, not without. You see? So soul is mirror-like. Mirror-like means all the objects, from the subtlest of the subtle objects to the grossest parts, all of them always go on getting reflected in the soul entity aspect and understandably known and seen through intellect, which by itself is a reflected aspect. Do you understand now? Reflected aspect. The way I am before the mirror, and in the mirror I am there, and it happens that one reflected in the mirror tries to imitate me and tries to rebuke me. Oh, you are trying to make faces just like me? What sort of you are? If I raise and you are raised like that, he is trying to quarrel me. That experience is like that. So, but it is there after all, because soul is present. Because soul is present, in the presence of the soul, everything is possible. But the real experience is totally different. You see, when your all this physical experiences and all your physical belief part and opining part gets removed through the divine mental surgery, through the divine surgeon, that is a self-realized, experienced soul with living body, without instruments, without anesthesia, nothing, nobody is required. Nobody. Wonderful surgery. And separates you totally different from mind and puts you away from the mind, puts you away from the intellect, puts you away from your body consciousness, puts you away from your body ego ownership state and removes and makes you realize yourself. Understand? With all its qualities and attributes fully, and separates you and establishes yourself as your perpetual self. You see? Which is all the time perpetual, not subject to any of the past or future qualification. That is how that dimension that he can do. So mirror-like quality soul is like this. After your own experience and realized state opens out in the intrinsic and main attribute of the soul as knowing power and seeing power. Through that knowing, seeing power, everything gets seen and known. Even your thoughts goes seen and known. Your intellectual functions, they are just reflected aspects. They will be there. The thing will be, what shall we say, mirage-like will be get removed. It's difficult for you to remove them. Mirage-like, illusory. Understand? Making the transient and temporary aspects to be believed as permanent, and relishing and dwelling on that. That will be removed. You see? So all your wrong belief part of believing yourself in so many various states, in any of the states, it can be anything. That will be, and the right whole belief will be transferred and accept. And your separation will take place, your experience will tell. Understand? And then he will just tell you to live your life in an independent state with full freedom, but as per certain 5 dictates which will give, and you live out your life. You have not to live anything, be away with anything from anything, but just live your life in a separated state. Do you follow? That is how. So mirror-like aspect of the soul is like this. It is subtle. Everything gets That is how soul power and soul light can go through and through the walls and everything through and through. And in live human beings, through and through, it can be seen. Not the way these eyes see. It is with divine vision. It is very subtle. You see? And in subtle vision, all your mind aspects go on getting known and seen. The way, the more and the extent to which your mind intellectual aspects go on getting known and seen, to that extent that divine light opens out. That is called aura. And all that effect. You see? Aura is all soul. Where soul is there means aura has always to be there. It may be ignorant state or a knowledgeable state. Aura is aura. You see? And an ignorant state, aura, if one becomes very angry, that just from that powerful transmitter and all that, where high voltage and that outside effect, it goes out like that, all outside, and the effects others also. But because of the soul, not otherwise. Understand? Is it so? And second simile is this, that soul is space-like in subtle form, gross mirror-like, in subtle form space-like. Space, you see, you can feel the space and everything, but space is formless. Space has form? No. So space-like, and yet soul is entity in this body. Do you understand? This is how it is. Space contained by this room is room space. Space-like in subtle form, and that is how the mirror-like form, that you can come to understand the subtlest subtle aspect of the soul, how it is in this body itself. You experience your own thing, you see, and in its absolute form, that absolute knowing and seeing power that opens out in this body is that very rare, rarest of the rare, ultimate experience, that soul knowing and seeing power, divine light power, through divine light expands universally, and whole universe gets known and seen reflected wise in the soul, and the soul remains absolutely so with the body. So this two way one can understand soul, otherwise soul is not beyond words. Beyond words. Soul is not spiritual experience. Spiritual experience is subject to change. You understand? And soul experience is the function of freedom from all the changing modifications and aspects. All. It is not subject to change. It is in innate nature, not subject to any change whatsoever. Elating or depressing. You follow? It may be elating or depressing. High or low. Increasing or decreasing. No. Pacific, vast Pacific Ocean is within the bounds. Is it not so? Is it not within the bounds? If a little let up in that ocean, what can mean to Los Angeles? No, it can never happen that. Otherwise ocean is not ocean vast. Little let up, because what is the elevation of the Los Angeles after all? 3-4 meters from the sea level? It's not much. Not much. All coastal places, most of them. That is how. And yet, so many hours West Bay, waves and so many things, and yet the bound. That is not subject to any modifications because of the wind conditions, these, that, but they are of transitory nature.